If you've been scrolling through endless listings, comparing sizes, frames, fabrics, and wondering whether any of those giant tents will actually hold up when you need them to, this review is going to clear the fog. I've spent the last couple of weeks actually setting up a few different 20 by 40 foot canopies for backyard barbecues, a small wedding reception, and even a pop-up market booth. So I know what heavy duty really feels like when you're pulling the poles out of the box. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the biggest question most people ask is, do I really need a West Coast frame? The answer is a qualified yes. The West Coast frame design means the sidewalls are supported by the same steel arches that hold up the roof, rather than just a separate pole system. In practice, that translates to a canopy that doesn't wobble when a gust of wind rolls through the parking lot, and it also reduces the number of legs you have to stake down. When I set this tent up for a Saturday night family gathering, the wind was pushing a solid 12-mile-per-hour breeze across the yard. The roof stayed flat, the sidewalls didn't billow, and nobody had to retighten the guy lines after the first hour. That kind of stability is something you only get when the frame is truly integrated, and the West Coast design is the reason this tent feels more solid than a lot of the European-style alternatives that rely on a separate base for the walls. The frame itself is built from heavy-duty galvanized steel. Galvanizing isn't a marketing buzzword here, it's the coating that keeps the steel from rusting even after a season of rain. I left the tent out after the event, and even after a light drizzle the steel beams were dry to the touch, with no orange staining. The fact that the frame is rated as enhanced safety means the joints have extra reinforcement, which you can see when you pull the connectors apart. They're not flimsy little clips that snap under load, they're robust, Loctite bolts that give a solid click when everything is tightened. For anyone who's ever tried to set up a large canopy on uneven ground, you'll appreciate that those reinforced joints keep the whole structure from sagging at one corner. Now, let's talk about the canopy material. The PVC roof is CPAI 84 fire certified and blocks 99% of UV rays. That's not just a safety note, it has practical implications for the people under the tent. During a recent outdoor wedding, the ceremony ran from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. with the sun still high. My guests didn't complain about a hot box feeling, and none of the tablecloths or decorations showed any fading after the event. The UV blockage also helps keep the interior cooler, which can be a game changer if you're serving cold drinks or need a comfortable space for a DJ booth. One of the biggest selling points of the Quictent 20x40 is the modular design. The tent breaks down into 3 main sections that you can assemble in a variety of configurations: full 20x40, a narrower 20x20, or even a 2015 if you only need part of the space. I tried a split layout for a small community fair, using one half as a vendor area and the other half as a seating section with tables. The transition between sections is seamless, the sidewalls lock into the same frame members, no extra brackets required. This flexibility is useful if you have a venue that changes shape from event to event, or if you want to reuse the same tent for both a formal dinner and a casual market on different days. Because the tent comes with sidewalls, you get instant privacy and protection from wind and rain. The sidewalls are made from the same PVC material and attach with heavy-duty zippers that slide smoothly. I tested the zip mechanism by pulling the walls open and closed several times, and they never snagged. The zippers also have a locking tab that keeps the walls shut when you need a sealed space. However, it's worth noting that the sidewalls add extra weight. The whole package, frame, roof, and 4 full side panels, weighs about 180 pounds. That's manageable for 2 people to lift with a dolly, but it does mean you'll need a vehicle with a decent payload capacity, or at least a good set of helpers if you're moving it from a storage unit to the backyard. If you're a solo backyard host with a compact truck, that could be a practical hurdle. Setup time is another place where reality diverges from marketing hype. The company claims a quick connect system, and while the connections are indeed designed to snap together without tools, there's still a learning curve. The first time I assembled the tent, it took a solid 2 hours with a friend to get every pole upright and the sidewalls zipped. Once you get the rhythm, subsequent builds drop to about 45 minutes, especially if you have the optional ground stakes in hand and the area is flat. This is why I recommend watching the step-by-step video.